All right, great.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to try something different with the Zoom meeting. We're actually up here in Colorado teaching class. So what we thought would be fun is we kind of open to the public. We're going to let each student talk to you guys and kind of tell you their experience of their first 2 weeks and their umbrella courses and their emotions and what they're going through. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass the iPad around and allow you guys also to ask them any questions, anything that you would, anything you'd like. Just be careful what you ask. So what we'll do is we'll pass it around and again, you guys are sure everybody can hear me okay? All right, so still working. Yep. Anybody have a question right now you want to? Hey, Marissa, how you doing? It's been a long time since I've seen you. How's my buddy Chris?
I know.
Oh, yeah. It's great. It's so great to see you.
Likewise.
So all right. So we'll pass this around and kind of get started. Let you guys ask the students any questions you'd like. You're first.
I got the hot seat. Hi guys, my name is Teresa Spear. I come from Missouri. I came here because I didn't have training in colt startings. I have my degree in equine science. And I knew that I enjoyed starting colts, and I had started several of them, and my friend Alicia, who's here with me, she convinced me to come, which didn't take much. Well, I got here and I've had many light bulb moments. I didn't think once to start a colt on the ground with a bridle. I always started them with a halter, and that's how I did my ground training. Once we started with the bridle and got them softened up, got them moving off doing, we've done numerous things already in 2 weeks. Our first ride today was just short of amazing. Just to see how supple they were, how soft, how easy it was, and there wasn't a fight. We did a lot. I mean, a lot of groundwork. I know I calculated up this last 3 days, 25 miles in the deep sand that we've done driving and groundwork that we've done. And let me tell you, Josh has worked us and had us work those horses. It's been amazing. Just to see the process, there's been a lot of emotions through everyone. It's fun to watch everyone's different horses and how they react and how to fix those horses, because your horse may not have the same reaction as everyone else's. So it's pretty cool seeing that different technique or the different horses and how to fix it and have that opportunity, because just because your horse may be one way, another horse may be totally different. So it's been pretty cool to watch that and see those different changes and to watch the progression of everybody and how short of time they can come along, and it really is just neat. I'll pass it on to Liam now.
You didn't give him any question time.
Oh, question. Does anybody have any questions?
What type of bit did you use?
I started with mine in an O-ring snaffle, and we all start with a snaffle.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, I'll pass it on to Liam.
All right. Hello. I'm Liam. I'm from Southwest Montana. I am a horse trainer, cowboy sometimes, and hand model to pay the bills when cowboying doesn't work. And I work for a nonprofit called Heroes and Horses. If you're ever looking to donate to veteran, I'm just kidding. Can I say that right here? If you're ever looking for veteran organizations, call us, ask about us later. We'll let you know. Anyway, I brought a totally unbroke Mustang down here that just got out of the Oregon herd last year and it's been sitting in my back pasture. And he lost his mind the first like 2 days, and today he was like perfect soft, me riding on top of him. So I'd say the novel, or not novel, but the new thing that I'm learning here, as opposed to my typical way of doing things, is like a way of sustained, controlled emotions for the horse, like of being able to like raise those emotions and then drop them down quickly. It was like usually I'll just blow them up and then jump on them afterwards, and I say that's good enough. But definitely the way things we're doing here of like sustained like manipulation of the horse's emotions, it's like definitely paying dividends. Because I mean that horse, I couldn't touch it 2 weeks ago when we were riding it today. So big improvement. Definitely a testament of the efficacy of the program. That's all. If anybody else has any questions. Yeah. Nope. No, couldn't follow you, Teresa. I'm gonna pass you off.
Hey guys, I'm Alicia. It's kind of nice to see some of you again. So I know I saw some of you guys at some of the clinics last year. So I did accreditation last fall, and I took my 10-year-old mare now. And then one of the things coming back to cert class was kind of trying to decide what horses I was going to take with me. And so I brought my mare back again that went through a cred. And it's been kind of cool to see how all the groundwork and the, like we've been ground driving the horses, working on a lot of hip control from the ground and a lot of stuff that we do in the saddle, but seeing it apply to the broke horses as well has been really helpful. So we have 10 students here, and so each student brought 2 horses, but you could bring a broke and an unbroke, or you could bring 2 broke horses. So I brought that mare of mine, and then my unbroke that I brought is a 2-year-old filly that I brought. I hadn't saddled her or anything before we came. So she's been a lot of fun. I've been learning really the importance of forward motion in training her. But the coolest part has just been being able to see the same methods that are working on that 2-year-old unbroke horse, working with, the other, like the Mustang that's unbroke. Teresa brought a 3-year-old that's unbroke. And then also seeing it with the seasoned broke horses and watching them get better. So if you guys are thinking about coming and you're thinking like you might not have the right horses, I promise you do. Just bring them and come. Does anybody have any questions? Right.
Oh, hold on, everybody. I can't do this thing, but I'm gonna try. How's this?
Yeah, flip it around.
That's it.
Oh my
Is that
God.
good? Okay. Yeah. Hey, I'm Paul. I'm from Bayfield, Colorado. What everybody said is absolutely true. I want to talk a little bit about the other benefits of being here, and that's that you get to talk horse with 9 other people that do different things with horses than you do, and there's a whole lot that comes to that. And everybody here is trying to work together and to learn from each other, and it's absolutely amazing. Like the group that we have, I don't know if they're all like this, Josh, but this group is pretty awesome. We all get along. We all respect each other. We all work together. We all help each other. It's a pretty amazing time. It's a good facility. The instruction's great. I mean, like I brought 2 young green horses, and I am amazed at what my little mare has done since we've been here. Absolutely, like I'm dumbfounded. And I did it. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but Josh likes to do this, I do that, and next thing you know, the horse is doing what I asked it to do. So it works. It definitely works. It's a good time, and I'm looking forward to the next 2 weeks for sure. You guys got any questions? You guys can ask me anything, because I mean, I'll tell you the truth. Not like Liam. Come on, Deborah, you got a question? Nothing.
You gotta call them out.
A question.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Marissa.
How old is your horse?
I have one that's 3 and one that's 4.
Okay. And this is the first time that you're breaking both of them?
No, they were both green broke, had 30 rides, 30 days on them. And then I let them out for the winter pasture, didn't touch them at all, didn't put a saddle on them, and brought them here as rough as I could possibly bring them here.
And now they're all tacked up and ready to go.
They're awesome. I mean, absolutely stellar. Like just the things they can do. And remember, like we're being taught. And so it's not like we didn't spend the last 2 weeks just working on our horses. We're watching, we're learning techniques. But the amount of hours that we've spent with these guys, it's absolutely amazing the progress that they've made. It's beyond my wildest dreams, sincerely. And I have a little pack stream that I run, and I'm just a amazed at the things I'm going to be able to go home and do with what I've learned.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Twice. You're not going to get Liam back again.
Well, I'm from Michigan, and I came to better my horsemanship and to learn how to break a colt. It's been a super fun, for sure. We've had our struggles, definitely. Been so worth it. I highly recommend it. And one of my favorite parts is probably just watching the horses grow, and it's so cool that I'm like learning with them. And I've had so many light bulb moments since I came here, and the horses I brought a broken, I'm leasing an unbroken. I didn't even know the unbroke before I came, and I already know her probably as much as I do my broke. It's really cool to do all the exercises and learn so much with them. I love it. So definitely glad I came. And
Yeah. I got you. Okay, you're good.
Sorry.
Now, Ava, why don't you tell them? Ava's the youngest person that has ever attended the program.
So I'm the youngest person that's ever attended the Lyons Legacy program, and it's really fun because I feel very included with everything. I know everyone's a lot older than me, but I definitely appreciate that I'm included in everything, and I'm learning just as much as they are.
And how old are you?
I'm 12.
Awesome.
And the first ride today was really cool. I loved it. Any questions? All right, on to Lori.
Hi, I'm Lori Nelson. I'm from North Dakota, and I'm just going to talk about Ava a little bit. She's been amazing, and she's keeping up with all of us, so we're really proud of what she's doing. I'm just wanting to fill in a lot of holes in my horse training, and have learned so much. Josh is an amazing teacher. He answers all of our questions, goes through everything. I've had so many light bulb moments with both of my horses I brought too. And I think Liam was talking about the emotional control. Like that was a big light bulb, like bringing your horse up and then letting him come back down and finding the softness through the release. Like sometimes we have to put a lot of pressure on the horses, and that was really huge for me. So that was just learned a lot, and it's an amazing group of people. It's fun to see the work ethic and the professionalism that everybody and Josh has. So I'd highly recommend it if you ever get a chance. I'll pass it on to Katie.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie. I'm also from North Dakota. I came here with Lori. It's been, like everyone said, the group of people we have is amazing, and it's fun to watch everybody go through the journey. If you feel like you're kind of in a tough spot and you look around, we're all there. Yeah, everyone's there and everyone's willing to help you out. But I'm a therapeutic riding instructor, and we've been wanting to longline our horses for a long time because there's a lot better movement and impulsion from the hind end, which is the therapeutic part of horses. So I'm excited. I know that wasn't an objective of this course, but it's an added bonus that we're going to go home and work on that with all of our horses, and it's really going to help out our humans that we help too. So any questions?
Hey, Katie.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you? Yay.
Good.
Folks, my name's James. I'm originally from out west here, but did a military tour and live in Kentucky now. So I had the opportunity to be able to come here and learn from Josh and the Lyons Legacy. And, I've known about these guys for many, many, many years. And what I've been so intrigued by was on the, I've grown up around horses, but in my profession, I got away from them. But I'm really interested in the performance side and being able to develop myself, even though I'm getting a little older in age, of the, especially through this particular program with the colt starting, Josh has definitely got an answer for every problem. So, and things, especially with this number of students, there's always something that arises, and he always has a solution for it. So through his method, and it's tried and true, we've got a diversified group of folks in experience levels, and definitely in horse levels. And myself, I brought two, not finished horses, but they're Greenbroke horses. And, and it's helped them going back to the basics and bringing them back up. But it's definitely something you should look into if you get the chance. And I feel an honor just to be able to work with these guys and Josh and his boy and Troy, and the rest of the Legacy family. So, any questions? Very good, thanks.
My name's Justin. I'm from Syracuse, New York, and I came out here just because I was desperate for an opportunity. I've been working in barn management for 4 years and was just dying to do something next, take the next step. And I came out here, and it's been like, I'm already planning what I'm going to do when I get back home. I've learned so much. I'm so excited. So like the amount of doors that I feel like are going to be open for me is just remarkable. So any questions? Cool.
I'm Chance. I'm from the eastern shore of Maryland, and I've learned a ton about here, about stealing rides and kind of making sure there's no holes in the training with horses and stuff, and really reading the horse's emotions a lot better and handling my own to correct them. Any questions?
Superstar.
Hey!
Come on, Joe.
I don't. Everyone else hit buttons. Hi, I'm Joseph. I'm Josh's son. I'm here. I have one of our horses. He's a little Joe Cash. That's about it. He's a broke horse that broke him out a long time ago. So, good. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So some of the things that, was amazing about the class, and every class is different, but every class always has the same common denominator. They have a love for horses. They have a desire to build a business or take their horsemanship to another level. And the greatest thing about that is when a group of people get together with the same common goal, it's pretty hard not to get along, and so this is, everybody always asks, is every group like this? And no, not necessarily, but
Or one of a kind, Josh.
every group's special, unique, and with the group, that's important is one bad chain can really disrupt the class, and we don't have that in this group. It's just a great group of people, all are willing to help. Everybody's willing to work, and like I said, the work ethic is unbelievable. And it does. It takes a lot of work training horses. It takes a lot of mental preparation, emotional control, ups and downs, frustrations, If you think about a horse's learning stage going from bad to good to worse to not so bad to learned, add about 20 more steps, and that's the people's emotional steps going through, the training, and so we learn a ton about horses and body language and reading horses, but at the same time, we learn a lot about ourselves, and how we handle situations. When we get angry, do we fight harder? Do we run? Do we lock up? We get the ability to be able to look at that horse as we're training it and become adaptable, which means that I'm going to still stay focused on what I'm trying to teach it. But as I'm working it, is there a possibility that there's a better way to get there? And there always is a better way to get there, so, we learn a ton, all across the board. The horse training's really the easy part. If you change the rider, we change the horse. And that's the first and most important thing, is change the rider. And every person that comes to this class, or everybody in this class, that's the hardest step. And the hardest step is changing ourselves and breaking habits and trying to figure out a better way to get through it, because we get comfortable. We get comfortable with what we know. We get comfortable with our corrections. We get, anytime we deal with change, we deal with resistance. And again, that's a tough thing for the horse, but even tougher for the rider. And I couldn't have a better group right now. It's a great group. I mean, the hand model is awesome. I get to learn how pretty his hands are. So, it is. It's one of the coolest things about the program is, like I said, we all have the same goal in mind, but we also have over 600 trainers, quite a bit over that, in 48 states and 13 countries. So there isn't a state that you can't go into that you can't find a certified trainer, and they're all willing to help. They're all willing to, if you need a place to lay over, if your truck breaks down, if you're driving a Ford, and your truck breaks down, they will come pick you up. You become a part of a big family, is what it is. And everybody's willing to help, and everybody, wants the same goal. It's never a competition, and that's hard to think of it that way, but it's not a competition. It's about improving ourselves, getting better, and there is one important lesson that you learn, in life, is that frustration, anger, or losing your temper comes from really one thing, and it's a lack of forward progress. As you will argue 8 hours if you think you can change someone's mind, but the moment you hit that wall, you lose your temper. So with a horse, being able to find that forward progress, and look for it. And some days, like I said, it's hard. It's hard to find, and it takes grit. It takes work and sweat. Liam was talking about his Mustang. He's riding his Mustang today, and if you would have seen the horse 3 days ago, bucking and blowing up and dragging him across the arena, and the fact that he's got no skin left on his hands, but to go through that, to get to today, it makes everything worth it, and that first ride, on that unbroke, it doesn't matter all the preparation you do, you still have to control your emotions when you get up there, and count on that work that you've done, holds, and have the mindset that as I'm riding that horse, as I'm getting up there, not praying the horse doesn't make a mistake, having the confidence knowing that when he does, do I have the ability to correct him? So, this class is more about learning about you, more than horses. And like I said, I couldn't have a better group here. It's a great class. Any questions you guys would like to go over?
Yeah, I've got a couple. How long is the process, the certification?
It's a 4-week program. It's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on. The 2 weeks off is not really 2 weeks off. It's 2 weeks to practice.
Okay, and then 2 more weeks. And then let's say I was to bring a Greenboro course. How far are you able to take people in the training of that? Where would I expect to hopefully be?
That's a tough question. That's a tough question because every horse is different. But by the time you leave the month, they're broke. They're not green broke. They're broke. Now, there's some that depends on where they come, where they can, the certification course is all about foundation work. It's about building foundation, and understanding the different the foundation steps, the releases, and making it a solid horse. The accreditation's about the performance, where we do only leads, lead changes, spins, rollback, stops. That's all finish and performance work. So depending on the class and how far, really we get, it really just depends on the class and it depends on that horse. Okay. But they will be leaving broke with a solid foundation.
So you can basically, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just can't say flying lead changes, but I have hopes for it. I'm going to go as fast as class can go.
That's pretty good though in 4 weeks. I'm impressed.
So it's another thing that's amazing is the horse will learn way faster than I can teach it. It takes me longer to explain a lesson than it does to teach the horse. And every one of these students will tell you that the horse learns faster than I can teach it. We put timeline, we put things to say, okay, it's going to take 6 months to teach a nice lead change. There's horses I've taught nice lead changes in a week. And then there's been some that's taken me a year. So again, I can teach as fast as I want, but it's not my job to tell the student he's learned it. The student tells me. So, but
and then,
yes, go ahead.
Yeah, one other question. I used to ride a lot when I was a kid, and I'm blessed to be able to ride again at a level that I'm very grateful for. I'm studying dressage, and I've done Western pleasure and stuff in the past. And I have a quarter horse, and I'm super excited to also work with him. And now I just can't remember what I was going to say. But I will, and I'll ask you again. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Dressage. That's it's a great discipline, and understanding the levels, from, level 1 with the 4 levels, level 2 with 3, so forth, all the way up to Pre-St. George, to Grand Prix. My favorite part's definition of understanding. In fact, there's only one dressage test that's standard throughout the world, is that Pre-St. George. But my favorite definition of dressage is trained beyond ordinary. That's all dressage means. It doesn't mean anything to do with just horses. It means training or training of animals, but it's trained beyond ordinary. And so the cert's about getting ordinary, getting them broke, and then going past that. That's dressage, is where you take it something ordinary and you make it better. Anything past ordinary, that's what dressage means. Train beyond ordinary.
So I just remembered my question. And again, I don't have probably the same experience that a lot of your other riders have, but I really also kind of wanted to learn like how to be able to look at a horse and kind of figure out what he's best suited for. Is that something that I might be able to pick up at one of these programs?
Yes, but again, it's also a guess. There's some type of guess to it. When you breed the highbrow cat, we know, okay, that's a cow line. They should make a good cow horse, but it doesn't mean that every horse from that line is going to be a good cow horse. Looking at conformation, we used to worry about reiners, but where the hip came down, where it tied in to the hip, was he over the hock or under the hock? Well, now we know that doesn't really have anything to do with it. If you take that horse and walk him in a straight line and his hind foot stepping in front of his front track, he's going to be a big stopper. So it has nothing to do with where the hip ties in. So again, you know, the most important part that when you're looking at a horse or trying to decide what this horse is best suited for is I'm looking at disposition. I'm looking at trainability. You know, I'm looking at retainability. You know, that does this horse take maintenance all the time? Is it going to be a constant horse? I got a constant maintenance to keep him up there. You know, so the nice or the greatest thing about a horse is the adaptability. You know, I can take that horse and I can go jump a 6-foot fence. I can go chase a cow down a fence. I can put him out on pasture. I can leave him in a stall forever. I mean, the adaptability of a horse. What makes a horse great is what I do with them, or what any person does with them. It's not, you know, that's what makes a horse great. You know, look at Charmaine James, the Scamper Chicken, $500, right? She's already had it cloned. It's won world championships. That horse is at a slaughterhouse. I mean, Smart Chickalina, if you looked at him, you wouldn't pay $500 for the horse. But he's an $8 million sire producer. You know, a lot of these horses, you know, one of the hard things about the horse industry is we get stuck on the bloodline so much that we start line breeding them and getting them back. And that's where we're starting to cause more genetic defects and the HYPP and impressive lines, that new disease in the Pocobrano line where the skin falls off or separates from the muscle, you know, and all that's because we're not willing to take a risk on that horse out in that pasture that we don't know the bloodline to. You know, but that horse has that ability. You know, it's just us bringing it out of them. You know, so, and there are some horses like if I'm trying to teach a cow horse, you know, I can make a great pinning horse or a sorting horse, you know, or I can make a great ranch cutter. But I can do that with any horse. But I can't make a great cutter if they're not afraid of cows. They actually have to be afraid of cows. And that's what gets them to lock on and draw. And then all of a sudden they learn they can push that cow. And then that fear turns to aggression. But I can't put that into that horse. You know, that horse is, that came with that drive. That's what made Highbrow Cat. That's why if you look at the Bloodlines, Gunner, Top Sell Wiz, I mean, they're $13-14 million sires. You know, and everybody's heard of Smart Chick. He's $8 million. But then you look at Highbrow Cat, and he's over $170 million producer. He's not even in the ballpark. Nothing's in the ballpark of that horse. So, yeah, we learned to read horses, look at athletic ability. But again, the most important thing is disposition. You know, having that disposition, understanding the difference between a horse that's, if it's an extremely forward horse where he can't take a lot of pressure, well, or you got a horse that's extremely lazy, he can take a ton amount of pressure. You know, and finding the balance of more of what I'm looking at riding. Are you looking at riding? Would you rather ride a horse that you got to push, or would you rather ride a horse that you might want to hold back to you? You know, it's finding also what we think we want to ride. We really might not be, that's not the horse we want to ride. You know, we want that, look at that real nice, quiet, dull horse that nothing bothers, until you climb on and start trying to work on performance and you find out that ain't fun. You know, I need some energy. I need movement. You know, I don't want to have to push all the time. So learning, you know, more about myself and what I like to ride, and then matching it to that horse, and then bringing the best ability out I can in that horse. So like a good example is a jumping horse, right? I told you about a cow horse. Want to make a good jumping horse. Well, I can tell you this, if that horse goes over a jump and I don't care if he touches his feet or not, but if he keeps hitting his front feet and he doesn't mind hitting his front feet, you've seen guys or trainers practice picking the pole up and smack that horse in the front feet as he's going over, trying to get him to tuck his feet. They don't ever make good jumpers. They don't mind their feet being hit. So I can't make that horse a great jumper. But I can for sure make him go over the jump. You know, so at some point, you know, athletic ability and all that plays into it, and disposition to me is the most important. That answer your question?
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have a question you'd like to go over? The class this is the first time and I was a little scared, but it was the first time we let the class kind of talk, and we absolutely don't want it to be a commercial. It's not about that. It's about, them talking about their experiences and what they're learning and going through, and just the fact that they're here, and showing up shows how much they want to learn. And everybody is in the same boat. Everybody wants to get better. The horse is capable of about 135 to 145 different distinct maneuvers. The best trained horse in the world does between 25 and 30. So that tells us that we don't know what we're doing yet, that there's a lot more that we can learn, and one of the coolest things to do is sit down at night and try to write down those maneuvers. Try to write down different maneuvers and how many maneuvers walk, trot, lope, there's 3. Or right lead change and a left lead change, there's 5. See how many you can write down, and if I don't take my time to build my knowledge, to understand the different maneuvers between the half pass, the 3-track, the capriole, the levade, the corto, the porto, the larva, if I don't take the time to learn these things, I can't teach it, but the horse is capable of doing more than what I think he's capable of doing. So the hardest part is keep my expectations up. We've been told in so many areas, misguided in so many different areas, saying that, if I'm calm, the horse is calm. If I'm nervous, the horse is nervous. We've just been misguided in different ways. Pulling on a horse makes him heavy. It has nothing to do with pulling on the horse. It has to do with when I'm releasing on that horse. Understanding the 3-track, bringing that hip in, yielding that horse, the long lining. It ain't about taking the energy out of the horse. It's teaching that horse to yield to that outside ray, to flex to that inside, to draw to us. What a great trainer does is they take an exercise and they don't do it to what someone shows them. They look at that exercise and say, what's possible? What could I use this for? And you never stop learning, and that's it. That's the cool thing about training horses is you get addicted to it. You get addicted to the feeling of the ability of getting your point across, and if you had to explain horse training, it's conveying your thought. How do I take my idea and make it his? That's all horse training is, taking my idea and making it his. And so we get addicted at making that horse better, at communicating it in a less resistful way. But again, we also understand that we're asking for change, and with change comes resistance. So it's not that, we've been told you put your leg in a certain position, pick your hand up. You remember the reins that were colored? Red, blue, green. They say, listen, pull green. When you're light, pull red. When you're gonna die, pull blue. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's putting our leg in a certain position. It doesn't matter how many lead changes I've done. I climb on a horse, he doesn't know it. I got to teach him lead changes. Just because I know how to ask doesn't mean the horse knows how to do it. And it is frustrating out there when you see 10 horses and 10 riders are out there working, and 9 of them all of a sudden look like, man, they had no problem. They're doing this real easy, and your horse is dragging you off. And then you start doubting yourself. You start questioning yourself, am I doing it wrong? And to know that, no, the horse is just different. That the round pinning, the 20 steps of the round pin it was to find that one hole that made that change in that horse. 19 of those steps were easy. 19 of those steps that horse didn't have a problem with, but there's going to be one. There's going to be one and that's the one you're making a change on. And one of the things about training that is also hard is knowing that when you're having a bad day, I promise your horse is also having a bad day. But that means tomorrow might be a great day. You know, when the horse is doing it isn't when they're learning it. It's when they're not doing it. When they're not doing it is when that horse is learning it, not when the horse is doing it. So it's a fun process. You know, it really is. And I have respect for all these guys that come through and work because I know it's not easy. And it's not only physically hard out there, 25 miles. I mean, it's not only physically hard, it's emotionally tough. Plus, they're leaving their families, they're leaving their homes, they're leaving the comfort of their bed sometimes. I mean, all that because they have that much of a passion, to train horses, to better themselves, and the people that support them at home, their families, they need just as much credit, as these guys do. So it's when you think about, the financial side of it, to me is nothing compared to what these guys put in emotionally, and leaving their families and going through it. It's truly amazing. And the other side is all the veterans. We couldn't do our job. We wouldn't have the rights we have right now. We wouldn't be able to be out here training horses without them. They're the ones that gave us this opportunity. So anything we can do back for them, absolutely is important. So, any other questions you guys have?
I have a question.
Sure.
I was wondering, all the people there have like a unbroke Mustang to a 10-year-old mare. What drill did everybody really enjoy, like really love? Like, what was their one that they're like, ooh, this was good? I mean, they're all good, but just.
That's right. They're all good. No, I'm kidding. But this time we're going to ask them. We're ask them, because I don't know. I know there's certain ones that are my favorite that I just love. But, what drill do you guys that you enjoyed the most?
I think the ground driving.
All right. So the long line.
Now,
what changed the most? Why?
Because I got to see their emotions heighten and brought back down, and especially with my one that's just a doll, or she got like all of a sudden she's like, whoa, what is this? And she actually got excited, and then I saw her emotions go up for the first time ever. And then she came back down, and then she was like, oh, I got it. And then like making them yield to that outside line, and moving them over and getting that feel for it, and just the feel of when to release and when to not to put too much, when to release on the pressure. It gives you a better feel with your hands. Yeah. And whenever you're up there and with the reins, it was a cool concept.
So the long lining, them understanding the ability to control the horse from both sides, knowing that we're riding two different types of horses, two different horses all the time, was what her favorite thing was. I'm going to pass it around, make it the leisure, but that's a great question.
Is that long line drill on your videos? Is that, do you know about where that?
I don't know if it's in there or not.
On your videos?
We got 70 or 80 videos in there, and I don't know. I have a really hard time watching myself on video, so I'd have to go back and look. I honestly don't know for sure, but I know that we have about 80 more videos saved that we need to put up, that we are going to put up. Cool. And so I'm sure it's in there for sure. Cool. So we'll let them pass around real quick and just, just one of your favorite exercises. It doesn't have to be just something that it could be as simple as understanding the difference between the response and softness.
I have my answer picked out. Definitely.
What kind of disposition you're
Did you say I looked very handsome? You cut out.
With that exercise?
Is that what you said?
What kind of disposition your horse had too? With that jump?
Yeah. Well, my Mustang's excellent. He's a big sweetheart until he's a 1 or a 10 though. Like he's either loving on you or he's trying to kill you. But I would say the most useful exercise we've gotten is I've never long lined before. Like I've been messing with horses for like 30 years. But and I hate it. It's really boring, but it's useful. It's super useful because like I found out and lost all the skin on my hands because like taking that outside hip of my horse with the long line and taking away from him while he's running. Like I mean, we got all that out of him when I wasn't on top of him. So yeah, so that was a win because my back's not in its 20s anymore. So I will definitely be long lining in the future instead of just accepting the rodeo way. But yeah, thanks for calling me handsome though. I needed that. No one compliments me here.
I think right about now, Josh is regretting this, but I'm going to be another vote for long lining. So the part of it that I liked was the same thing with the hip control. But for me, it really showed like how we overcomplicate it a lot when we're riding. So Josh was talking earlier about how, we're always tempted to like, oh, put your leg in this position or your leg in that position. Josh's legs are like 2 feet longer than my legs. So even if he were to train a horse, to put his leg in a certain spot, I can't hit that same spot anyways. And being able to do all that work with the reins, from the ground behind my horse, my unbroke horse, really just hit home that if I can do it there, I definitely can do it in the saddle, and I don't need to make it that complicated.
Nice. Thank you.
Where am I? Oh, there I am.
You're right there.
My favorite exercise. I mean, it's probably the same as what these guys said. It was really, it really was. I mean, it was the most boring thing I've ever done in my entire life. Because you just do it and you do it and you do it. But you see what a difference it makes. Like it's unbelievable. Like in a day, which is just a couple hours. It's just crazy how your horse can soften up in so many ways and change in so many ways. And you're just standing back there.
All right, don't listen to them. It's boring. It's my favorite exercise as well. It was super cool to see how fast both the horses softened up. Both reins are super fun. It took a minute to figure them out because my short arm's trying to figure out how to hold both the reins in a whip at some point.
You killed it, dude.
It was rough for a minute, but we figured it out and it was really fun. I appreciate the exercise a lot, and I think it definitely helped while I was riding today. She was a lot softer than I thought she was going to be.
I agree with Ava. It was not boring. It's the best exercise ever. So another vote for long lining. One of my horses just hit some emotional blow-ups, and we worked through it, and that was really cool to get through it on the ground, so I wasn't on the horse. And the other thing Josh had talked about, that pulling on the horse doesn't make them heavy, and that was my big light bulb for the week. So I really learned the release and that the softness comes through that. So yeah, the long line. And then when we got on the horses, how soft they actually were, because we spent so much time working them on the ground with the long lines.
I will agree with everybody else, and like everybody said, bringing the emotions up and down from the ground so you can kind of see what their response is going to be. I was actually more scared to get on my broke horse than my unbroke horse, and today was the first time I didn't say the Our Father, so that was that was a definite win, because we've had our ups and downs. So, yeah, felt good.
That's all.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to be a little bit different, I guess. Long lining's cool, but I thought where I did see some change right off the bat when he taught us to, once you get a hold of these horses, get the snaffle bit in them and start yielding the shoulders and the hips and getting them traveling around and back and forth and getting them following their nose. So that starts building that softness so you can go on, and you'll see the change right away with these horses once you get that going. And you can get a hold of any horse, broke horses, they all need it. And it's good to even take some of our old broke horses back and getting them softened back up. So we did that kind of right at the beginning.
Yeah, so my favorite exercise was just like getting on and off the horse or halfway up and back down. And it's kind of a silly reason, but where I was taught to ride, we're not allowed to mount from the ground. We only use mounting blocks. So it was like scratching an itch that I had for the longest time. So.
That's awesome.
I like that.
I'm going to finish it off with long lines because we actually work a lot of little ponies and stuff at the house for driving and all that. And, learned a lot about for using the full size, on the full size horses for teaching softness and really you can go into collections so much with it, but kind of some better tactics to even working with the little ponies and all that to just make it smooth the process with them.
So yeah, it's fun to listen to their answers, and they'll get in trouble the more. But all of the the long lining, just what you find out is you find the holes that you didn't know you had, and that's always surprising to you. You start putting pressure on that horse all of a sudden and his emotions go up, then he takes that bit and takes off. You find out I don't want to ride that, and one of the things about these unbrokes that one of the mistakes I think that we make a lot is everybody wants to attach the gas pedal before we put the steering wheel on. And so pretty soon you got the gas pedal, we just can't control where he's going. And being able to get the horse to draw back, teach him to accept that bridle, teach him to know that bit's the most important thing in his life, and that no matter what, don't go through it. And doing that on the ground, you have confidence. Doing it from the back, because sometimes you don't have that confidence. That horse jumps, we panic, and we're worried about losing our seat. But on the ground, we can be very focused, very clear. And if that horse had reared up and jumped around and done that when I was on him, it could break my confidence. On the ground, it doesn't, and it shows you how your horse can accept that pressure. When he gets in those situations, how he's going to react, and it gives us a chance to work through it safely, so we can keep Liam's hair looking the way it does.
I'm just here for far right upper corner. That's all.
Fellow 406er, I see.
I'll at you. Hey.
Oh my gosh.
That's Southwest Montana for you uninitiated.
Gotta have a great class. So
what is your number one drill for going problems? Like if they have a stopping problem or a going problem, or sorry, if they have a going problem, a dull horse, what's your number one drill for that?
I don't have one.
Oh,
I don't have one because they're all different. I can tell you, I will give you a drill that I really enjoy. Doesn't mean it works on a horse. There's ones I use on rundowns where I teach the horse while I bring my legs off, cluck, don't nail them, teach them to run off that cluck, off me bringing my legs off the horse. But that's a great drill for like a rundown. I'm trying to teach this horse how to run, but that doesn't work on, that gets a horse really quick. I might not want that, but I need to get this horse a little sharper. So really one of my favorite exercises to teach a horse to to reach up, drive, and actually use his hindquarter is if you ever done a haunches in or a hips in. If you picture a little hard to explain here, a 3-track. So a 3-track is where you got the right front makes one track, the left hind or the left front, right hind make a track, and the left hind makes its own track. That makes sense?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. About as clear as mud on that one. So what I'll do is I'll work the horse in a circle on the inside circle, but I'm going to use my inside leg. All right. And you got to picture that when you're riding your horse, it's like riding a bulldozer. You got 2 tracks. All right. So when a horse starts getting dull off their leg, they want to go to 2 legs, and anything that you use more often, you make less powerful. Anything you use less often, you make more powerful. Or a horse that gets dull to my leg, what happens is I'm kind of using my legs all the time, but you're using both and you're building a response where the horse kind of jumps, but then he sucks back to my leg again. So the exercise I enjoy the most, or one of them I enjoy, is I'll take a circle to the right. I'll use my right leg, and I'm going to take his hindquarter and push it under his belly to the outside. All right. So as I'm traveling, that means his right hind, I'm traveling to the right, his right hind stepping across his belly to the outside, like almost like you're disengaging the hindquarter, except for it's actually stepping up toward the outside shoulder. All right. Okay. And it will create impulsion. It'll make the horse drive and reach under his belly. We've been taught to use a 3-track and put the hips in to help create impulsion. And that does the exact opposite. Because what that does is teaches that hip, the moment that hip moves over a 1/2 inch, now I've lost all my drive. But if I do it on a circle and I use my inside leg, the hip can only go so far past. It cannot get out of position, but it can get out of position to the inside. But the more I push it under his belly, the more reach and the more drive I have. So what I'll do is I'll take that circle, use that inside leg, drive that horse on that circle until his right hind is stepping toward his left shoulder. He'll start extending out. Then I'll take that leg off and let him square up. That means hold speed now. And then what I'll do is I'll take my outside leg, put it on, and bring the hip to the inside and use it to slow down and teach him to rate, to come back to my leg. So there's 2 things I'm doing. One is I'm teaching this horse how to get in front of my leg. And the other one is I'm teaching him how to get behind my leg, because I don't like riding toothpaste, which means I squeeze with my legs and it squirts that way. That's not fun. All right, so there's about 50 exercises, but that's one I really enjoy.
Is that the same thing like you would do on groundwork? Like say when you're lunging a 2-year-old and trying to get them to have more forward motion instead of whipping them continuously, trying to get them to go, you try to disengage their hind end on the lead, bringing their nose in. Does that increase more forward motion?
No.
No? Okay.
No. Now, long riding, I have the ability to control a little bit, but when you go out and lunge your horse and he's fresh, as he's lunging around you, he'll hit that outside lead on you, won't he?
Right.
Right? He'll crossfire, or he'll even go to that outside lead because really he's trying to get away from you. All right. Well, once that energy and once that freshness goes away, then all of a sudden he's kind of coming towards you. Now he's on the correct lead.
Right.
So to put him on that outside lead and push him away from you, I'll be creating more problems than I'm creating good. Okay. So I wouldn't use that on that line to teach that, because again, I'll be pushing the horse too far away from me. I'm not teaching him to yield to my leg. I'm teaching him to run away from me, which again, the negative consequence of that doesn't outweigh the positive. So I got the horse to extend out and drive faster, just away from me.
Right. Okay.
So and that's a tough thing to know, is that everything you train has a positive and a negative to it. And you got to make sure your positives outweigh those negatives. So teaching that horse on that lunge line to push to the outside and cross out, you're definitely increased speed. but the negative side of it isn't worth it. So that is an exercise I wouldn't do on the ground. I do it from the back.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. You guys have a question you'd like to ask?
I have a question.
Yes.
I have two babies and they're yearlings, and like the babies are so new to me.
Oh.
And they're two totally opposites. I have one that just will stop moving his feet, okay, and just all together. And then I have another one, and she just completely, like, she'll do anything I ask her to do. Like, I guess my question is, for the one that won't move his feet, like, what could I do to encourage him to move forward? Because he'll just completely, like, I'm not going.
Yeah, just walk up on you. So do you have well, you got a round pin or you installed? Do you have the mares with them? Are they all, or are they weaned?
They're completely weaned.
Okay. So what you can do is use your other weanling to teach the other yearling to teach this yearling.
Okay.
All right. So do you still have Cope?
Oh yeah. Cope
All
has
right.
a baby on the way. He's got a baby on the way next month.
Oh, nice. That was a great horse. But you can use those horses to teach them. So what you do is take those two yearlings, put them in a pen together.
Okay.
All right. And then take the one that moves and start moving it. What will happen is the other one will quit and stop. When he does, turn the other yearling back toward it and just kind of let it run it over. All right.
Okay.
It doesn't move, then turn it back and just keep turning that horse back and forth and that horse until all of a sudden you start seeing that horse go with that horse.
Okay.
Once he does, you're using that horse to teach him to move away from you. So it'd be like if you have a really aggressive horse, all right?
Mm-hmm.
The worst way to work an aggressive horse is me and him in the pen by ourselves. But if I put 4 other horses in that pen and I work the other 4 run that horse back and forth until all of a sudden those horses are teaching that horse to move away from me. And then I start taking one out at a time. Once you got that horse moving, then, like I said, you can go to the halter. You can even go to a bridle at that age and then start the bridle work and groundwork from the ground and teach that go forward cue. Because you're right, every problem falls in 2 categories: going or stopping.
Yeah.
And this is the going issue.
So are they too little to use the bridle?
No. Nope,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
used it. You can use it.
Okay. One more question. And how about the saddle?
The saddle, yes.
Okay.
Depends on their size, girth, that kind of stuff. But if I was going to use a saddle, I'd probably actually just use a pad and use a surf single. Just kind of get them used to the girth and that kind of stuff. But again, it would depend on the size of that horse and stuff, But using a surf single with a pad is the same thing as far as teaching pressure to that horse to understand the girth and the offside girth, and which would make it real easy to put that saddle on later.
Okay. I have one that's he's large, but the mare, she's tiny. So I was wondering about that, but I got you. Thank you.
They can carry you. Just remember, the horse, a rule of thumb is 25% of their body weight.
Okay.
Without any issues. So that baby's 250 pounds. So you're looking at putting a 25-pound saddle. I mean, it's not an issue for that horse to carry around.
Okay.
And it's just a good rule of thumb to remember, 25%.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, you guys, any questions you guys have for the class you want to ask her?
I think we need to see Lady.
Easy, lady. We need to go eat dessert. Lady.
Here's my assistant instructor
Trusty Steve.
that she doesn't,
She's the best.
she really doesn't,
She's like,
she really doesn't do anything.
Look at my
My
hair,
assistant
Leo.
instructor. So anyway, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. No, it's kind of give you students perspective and what they went through. Like I said, didn't want to be a commercial, just something it's just a lot of admiration, a lot of respect for everybody that goes through this program and puts that time and commitment. Then it's a lot of work. So anybody have any last questions before we end the meeting? Only one at a time.
They all know they can take the chat. I feel like we didn't plug the chat.
I know. We got the
They can see us right
Yeah, they
can
Bye-bye. So
Leanne just figured out that you guys could watch him the whole time.
I was only.
I love that everybody
I would
is
put
at a
myself
different
together.
age.
if I knew. Lord.
Oh boy. Well, you guys, thank you for coming. And like I said, we'll see you in next week.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You guys have a great night and see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank
Cover
you.
the camera up.